thank you. I've been on the website quite a lot. I'm very curious about Enjoy Life Forever, Lesson 13 on Warfare.
Okay.
If you're familiar with the book, would you be able to help?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you local to Molesey?
No, I'm quite some way to the west.
Okay, sure. Whereabouts are you?
Well, I don't want anyone to visit me. I'm quite happy to speak
okay.
on the phone, really.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you can download the book for free online, or I can get someone to give you one, but obviously they'd be happy not to follow up on that if that's your wishes.
Well, I spoke to somebody at the cart and they gave me a second-hand, a little bit tatty version of the book. It's Lesson 13, Paragraph 2. Do you want to read it or shall I read it?
Sorry, let me get that up. If you want to, if you got it. If you read what your
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
Thank you. False religion does not treat people as Jehovah does. The Bible says that false religion's sins have massed together clear up to heaven. For centuries, religions have meddled in politics, supported wars, and caused or approved the death of countless numbers of people. Some religious leaders enjoy a lavish lifestyle and demand money from their followers to pay for it. These actions prove they do not even know God, yet alone have the right to represent him. The book seems to be saying that if a religion has any involvement in politics or warfare, then they can't represent Jehovah, God. I mean, is that right?
Well, I mean, do you feel it's right for man to get involved in political, for religions to get involved in political affairs? What's your opinion on that?
Well, I'd like to know what the Watchtower position is. I went to an Awake online, the 22nd of April 1993, page 6, and it says that if a religion is involved in warfare in any way, then it calls them pawns of Satan the devil, which I thought was a little harsh, but that's what your Awake magazine says. They're pawns of Satan the devil.
So, I mean, happy to discuss this further in person if you'd like. A bit tricky over the phone.
I beg your pardon?
Happy to discuss this further, like in person, if you'd like. Obviously, what we offer to do is to talk in person and discuss what the Bible stance is on that.
Well, that's what I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to find out what the Bible stance is on that.
Yeah. So we believe what the Bible teaches that God's kingdom is a government.
Mm-hmm.
And that is the only solution to mankind's problems. And by putting faith and trust in that rather than man's governments, that is the only real solution to mankind's problems.
Right, but your book does say that if a religion is involved in warfare, then they can't serve Jehovah God. That's what Enjoy Life Forever says. And if a religion is involved in warfare, then they're pawns of Satan the devil. I mean, I think I've understood your literature correctly. If I got it wrong, I won't be offended if you help me and point out where I've got it wrong. But isn't that what your literature is saying?
I mean, yeah. So, are you familiar with the Bible yourself? Are you someone that reads it?
Yes.
Yeah. So, in 1 John chapter 4, verse 8, it says, "Whoever does not love has not come to know God, because God is love." So, I don't know whether you would agree, but by going to warfare with fellow man, that wouldn't be showing love towards fellow humans.
Not necessarily. No, I mean, if the Nazis want to put your wife and children in Auschwitz and conduct medical experiments on your children, it would be a loving thing for you to, pick up a knife or a gun and shoot that Nazi and get your family to safety. There's nothing sinful or unloving in trying to save your family. Though I do concede that many wars are fought for financial reasons, and they're not fought for moral reasons. So your book says that you can't get involved in warfare or politics, but the Watchtower itself admits that it has been involved in politics and warfare in the past. If I deal with warfare first.
Can I just ask, you're not local to Molesey?
No. I'm quite some way to the west.
Okay, just out of curiosity, why have you picked the congregation in Molesey to contact? Is there any particular reason?
Well, I've rung the local Kingdom Hall and there's no response, so I went on jw.org. The Watchtower, November 2016, page 29, so it's only 9 years old. It says, not everything, this is paragraph 9, not everything the Bible students did during the period between 1914 and 1919 was in harmony with scriptural principles. Although they were sincere, the brothers did not always have a proper view of subjection to the secular governments. Therefore, as a group, they were not always neutral with regard to the war effort. For example, when the President of the United States decreed that May 30th, 1918 would be set aside as a day of prayer for peace, the Watchtower urged Bible students to join in the observance. Some brothers purchased bonds to provide financial assistance to the war effort, and a few even went into the trenches with guns and bayonets. I feel that these statements are half-truths, but they do admit that during the First World War, the Bible students were not neutral. And that's from a Watchtower 2016, 9 years ago.
Sure, okay. I mean, first off, as humans, we are not perfect. So regardless of what people may have done in the past, things happen, and we also understand that our understanding of the scriptures improves over time. So Jehovah God reveals more and more to us at the appropriate time to understand it. So sometimes adjustments, and that is because that is the right time to understand it.
Your literature says that any religion that's involved in warfare doesn't even know God. So how can Jehovah God be revealing things to you if the Watchtower doesn't know Jehovah God? Because your own literature says that Jehovah has nothing to do with religions that are involved in warfare and politics, and the Watchtower has been involved in both heavily for over a century, you see.
So which when governments go to war, which side would you say Jehovah God is supporting?
I can't really comment on that. I have no strong views on warfare at all. I have never been in the military. It's not something I have any involvement with. Most wars seem to be fought for financial reasons. I don't. What I'm focusing on is that your literature says that if a religion is involved in politics and warfare, they can't serve Jehovah God. Well, the Watchtower has been involved in politics and warfare for over a century. Now, how can you say that they serve Jehovah God when your literature says...
We're not involved in politics and warfare.
Well, how do you explain that 2016 Watchtower, which says that they were not neutral during the First World War? And they're a little bit dishonest in this article because they say some brothers purchased bonds to provide financial assistance to the war effort. Now, that's true, but it's a half-truth, because the Liberty Bond, or the Liberty Loan, was encouraged in the Watchtower magazine. So Zion's Watchtower, 15th of May, 1918, page 6,257 of the Green Reprints, encourages the Bible students to buy Liberty Bonds to support the war effort. Rutherford did that because he knew at the time he was about to go on trial for sedition. It's possible he could have been hung. So therefore, he all of a sudden started supporting the American war effort.
Yeah.
So the Watchtower was supporting the American war effort, you see. And also it says that some of the brothers, what does it say? For example, when the President of the United States decreed that May 30th, 1918 would be set aside as a day of prayer for peace, the Watchtower urged the Bible students to join in the observance. Yes, it did. But what is not mentioned here is that Judge Rutherford, the leader himself, went onto a raised platform with Catholic priests and Protestant clergymen and prayed for victory with them on his knees for victory in the First World War. Well, if the head of your Bible student group, Judge Rutherford, went on his knees next to a Catholic priest and a Protestant clergyman, to me, and he's praying with them for victory in the First World War, that is involvement in the war effort.
Can I ask you, what is your experience with Jehovah's Witnesses now, in person now?
None. I've never been a Jehovah's Witness. I have no involvement at all. I'm just reading your literature.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah. I mean, the Jehovah's Witnesses joined the United Nations in 1992. Lloyd Barry, your then governing body member, signed the paperwork to incorporate the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York as an NGO member of the United Nations. He signed the paperwork in 1991, and the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, not the Pennsylvania branch, the New York branch, was accepted as a member of the United Nations in 1992. The UN is a political organization. You claim in your Red Revelation book the UN is one of the satanic beasts of the Book of Revelation.
So what I would encourage, that if you want to meet us, decide for yourself in person. Decide whether we are honest people. Do we show love? Do we study the scriptures? That is what the answer I'm going to give you if you want to meet with us and talk with us.
You're welcome to travel down. I live in Plymouth. You're welcome to travel down to Plymouth and speak to me if you want to.
Would you like to give me your address?
No. If you want to travel down to Plymouth, I'm happy to meet you in the city centre in some bar or, quiet place where we can talk. Not an alcoholic bar, but we can have a coffee or something. But lots of people say they'll meet up, and they never do. There was a Muslim imam in Birmingham who was going to hire a hall, and he was going to debate me and do all sorts of things. He never did anything. So people are often talkers. They're going to do this, that, and the other, and they never do anything. The Guardian newspaper.
For your phone call now, then,
yeah,
and I'll let you get on with the rest of your day. Okay.
Well, what are you afraid of? I mean, if you have the true religion, surely you can answer questions about your religion. The Guardian newspaper produced an article about the Watchtower in October 2001. The Guardian called the Watchtower hypocrites. Oh, that's East Molesey congregation who's just hung up on me. You can see on the screen the Guardian article. I believe it's from the 8th of October 2001. I am working from memory. And the Guardian called the Watchtower hypocrites. Well, the Watchtower never sued the Guardian for this. It never sued them for libel or slander or defamation of character or some other legal reason. It just ignored it. Why? Because it's true. The Watchtower said that the United Nations was one of the satanic beasts of the Book of Revelation, and yet, at the same time, the Watchtower joined the United Nations. Talk about hypocrisy. And did you notice how he just didn't answer any question? You just got the standard answer. The light gets brighter and brighter. And that's the problem with the Watchtower religion. It's a kind of system. It's a religious system that can kind of survive false prophecy. It can survive being wrong because it's a sort of self-sustaining. It's like a virus. It just adapts. It adapts and it changes. It's never wrong. It's always right. Because what it does, it controls the past. It controls history. And so when the Watchtower was formed, Russell and then Rutherford, they built a system that could survive being wrong because it adapts. And it adapts by rewriting history. And therefore it emerges stronger each time. So they originally would claim that Armageddon was going to happen in 1914, and Armageddon was the end of all things. Well, when Armageddon didn't happen in 1914, they extended it to 1915. And when that didn't happen, they just reinterpreted everything. They said, no, 1914 is not the end of the time of trouble. It's the beginning of the time of trouble. So this is what they've done continually. They rewrite history. They control history. They rewrite history. They redefine meanings and terms and words. So every few decades, what they're teaching radically changes. But these changes are called new light because, you see, it's like a virus that adapts, and it's never wrong. And no matter how many changes it makes, no matter how many mistakes it makes, people are always told, if you point out these mistakes, if you ask difficult questions, then you're the bad person, you're the evil person, because there's no way that the organization could ever be wrong. So if you ask difficult questions about this change or that change or this watchtower or that watchtower, or the sort of questions that I've asked, asking them about their past, then I become the bad person. I become the evil person. Because in groups like Jehovah's Witnesses, religious cults, you're not allowed to ask questions. You're not allowed to think outside the box. And the box they put you in is a box where they totally control words, they control history, they control the Bible, they can rewrite the Bible and so reinterpret the Bible in such a way it means the opposite of what it actually says. Words have no meaning to Jehovah's Witnesses. Up can mean down, left can mean right, black could mean blue, yellow could mean purple. Words have no fixed meaning because everything is reinterpreted by the Watchtower Society, and it adapts and it moves on and it dismisses anyone who questions it. Because the key thing is, you're not to have faith in Jesus Christ as revealed in the Bible. Your faith must be in the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York, this disgusting Borg-like cult which adapts, which controls history, which controls words, which controls theology, which controls the mind of those blinded into following it, so that they cannot think for themselves, and they definitely cannot think outside the parameters, the box, set for them by the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society of New York.